All right, so I've got a couple of things I have to do here today. The rocker is rusting right here. I can see it coming through the paint. It had already rusted here and I had Bondoed it and patched it, but the paint is coming off. All right, so right here you can see that this is pretty shitty. The rust is getting pretty bad. And right here is where I had done my work earlier. I'm also not a body guy, so this looks like shit, but the paint is chipping here. This is the other side. It's chipping really bad here. And there's some little parts of the doors, the bottom of the doors here, on the inside of the door, so under in here. And I'm gonna try to sand this here and on the other side of the door on the inside and see if I can patch that as well. I've got 120 grit paper on here, and I've got a couple of higher grits that I'm gonna be using by hand, but this is so much easier to get started with, so. Yeah, now this is solid metal, so this is fine. I'm not gonna have to patch it. Now this is the side that made me actually start to look at my rocker panels, because, I mean, if you could see in the left corner of the rocker, all that paint that I had put on prior is chipping. This side is not as bad, so I'm gonna get fixing that right now. I think the reason all this chipped was because I put such thin layers of paint on here. There was no durability that was really built up. So I'm gonna try to go a little thicker this time. Okay, so this is done. Some bare metal here that I've got to prime. I just gotta get a wet rag and kind of clean this stuff up, and then I'm gonna use some primer. This is just simply soap and water, so I don't need anything that's too aggressive. Obviously, you know, I just want the dust off so that the product that I'm using will stick to the surface. I gotta get under here on the door. I'm just using a Krylon. It's like a multi-surface primer. It's really good for metal and it's really good for adhesion. And this stuff here is just Rust-Oleum truck bed liner. I have found using this previously that once your can gets to a certain depth, like once you've used a certain amount of the product, you have to hold it upside down for it to come out. Unless that was just like a bad batch or something, that's what I found out that I had to do with that stuff. Now what I like about both of these is that they both dry, I think, in a minute. This recommends to use 2 coats by the time you're done. Like I said, I'm going to apply it thicker to try and stop it from chipping. I just threw a coat of primer on this stuff. The Bondo, if you're ever using it, is very, very thirsty. So it's going to take like 3 coats. It just drinks the shit up. So you should probably do it more than once. You can kind of see where I had did this prior. All the overspray from the Rhino-Line is all over here. There's little black specks all over the interior. So obviously make sure you do some masking. I don't really care that much, but it will get everywhere and it will make a mess. Okay, so this is done being primed. As you can see, there's no color variation between where I had the patchwork done and between where I'd sanded down to bare metal. You could tell that the Bondo is done drinking up all the primer. Okay, so I'm gonna start coat 1 of this bed liner here. If you noticed, when I was finishing the first coat on that side, I had to turn the can upside down because for some reason that's just how these work. I don't know why. Okay, so when you're using this stuff, use it kind of far away from the surface because it builds up really fast. Okay, so while I was doing this, I decided that I'm going to do the rear bumper and the corner trim to the left of the bumper that goes right into the fender that's right under the taillight. Okay, so I've masked and I've started sanding. Swiping this left and right really fast because, like I said, it builds up so quickly that I barely want to put a coat on here. Definitely looks much better than the blue. So yeah, it's a very simple process. It's not really that difficult. That little tiny dot right there is why you should really spend a lot of time masking. I could have sworn I had that covered, but I guess not.